Welcome back to The Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something literally mind-blowing. We are looking at an incredible body of research that presents a unified field theory, and it bridges the ancient cosmic physics of the Iranian plateau with the hard, measurable realities of modern thermodynamics. Now, if you thought ancient philosophy and modern physics were just two completely separate worlds, well, prepare to have that idea shattered. We're going to break down the actual mechanics of how the universe's energy translates directly into your daily human choices.
So let's take a quick look at our roadmap. We're covering the way of Ahura Mazda, order, entropy, and spacetime, the trigonometry of geomagnetic flux, measuring human risk appetite, the hinge of real change, and finally, implementing human free will. It's a lot of ground, but I promise you, by the end of this, the connection between the stars and your daily decisions is going to be crystal clear.
All right, kicking things off with Section 1, The Way of Ahura Mazda, and redefining ancient physics.
First things first, we absolutely have to toss out that external, dogmatic label of Zoroastrianism. Our source material asks us to look at the original path here, the way of Ahura Mazda. And we need to understand Ahura Mazda not as some humanized deity sitting up on a cloud, but scientifically. It is the resulting energy, literally a cosmic voltage, that drives human evolution. We're talking about physics here, folks, not dogma.
You can kind of think of this whole system like a giant, nonviolent cosmic battery. Just like a battery needs two poles to hold a charge, our universe requires polarity. On one side, you've got Ormazd, the positive pole. That's the future, boundless potential. On the exact opposite side is Ahriman, the negative pole, which acts as the anchor to the stagnant past. And here's the kicker. The tension between these two forces, it isn't some epic war of good versus evil. It's just the physical creation of the very energy necessary for human free will to even exist.
Moving right along to Section 2, Order, Entropy, and Spacetime, or what we call the cosmic engine.
Now this is where it gets absolutely crazy. The source material reveals that this ancient framework lines up perfectly with the first law of thermodynamics. You know the one, energy cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed. The universe operates as a continuous, dynamic, and crucially, nonviolent exchange of energy across the sheer trigonometry of spacetime. It's a vast, totally interconnected cosmic engine.
So let's actually map this onto our solar system. On one side, we have the 7 Amesha Spenta, representing Asha, or pure order. This is our visible solar system, the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury through Saturn. They form a very stable common plane. But a system with only order just becomes static and dead, right? So to balance it out, we have the Maverick planets, Uranus, Pluto, and the magnetically anchored Neptune. They inject the necessary entropy, that little bit of chaos required to force the whole system to evolve. You literally need both the stable structure and the chaotic spark to move forward.
Okay, Section 3, Trigonometry of Geomagnetic Flux.
If you just take a standard circle, the 360 degrees of our orbital plane, and intuitively divide it by 1, 2, and 3, you get these highly specific mathematical divisions. These are the 7 sacred planetary aspects. This isn't just some abstract mysticism. This is literal cosmic trigonometry, defining the spatial relationships between those celestial bodies we just talked about.
And here's where the physics really hits home for us. This geometric alignment dictates the measurable geomagnetic flux showering our planet at any given moment. As these planets lock into these specific sacred angles, they physically alter Earth's magnetic environment. That fluctuating flux? That is exactly what actively generates the Ahura Mazda voltage we defined earlier. The entire cosmos is basically a massive rotating dynamo generating an energetic field that we live inside of every single day.
Which brings us to Section 4. Measuring human risk appetite. Let's look at how this impacts us down here.
All right, let's talk about Citystats. This methodology is the literal bridge between cosmic physics and your wallet. It actually measures this planetary trigonometry minute by minute against real geomagnetic data, and then correlates it with our collective human mood and risk appetite. When the magnetic flux changes because of those sacred angles, our collective behavior shifts. The data absolutely proves that everything from Bitcoin price volatility to huge stock market swings, and yes, even the athletic performance of teams like Manchester United correlates exactly with these planetary angles. Unbelievable, right? The cosmos might literally explain that totally unpredictable weekend match.
So, the massive takeaway here?
Unpredictable market volatility isn't just random financial noise or some human error. It is a predictable, measurable, physical reaction to geomagnetic data. We are all of us collectively responding to the energetic pulse of the solar system.
All right, moving into Section 5, the hinge of real change.
You know, historically, the 90-degree angle, the square aspect, gets a completely bad rap. People love to call it a negative obstacle or harsh friction or just plain old bad luck. But our source material totally rebrands this. The 90-degree square is actually a cardinal hinge. It is a vital point of dynamic tension that forces change, shatters stagnation, and births new ideas. Without that 90-degree hinge, we'd honestly be stuck in a permanent rut forever.
And that actually brings us to the true physical meaning of Nowruz. It's not just a spring festival or a cultural party. Nowruz marks an astronomical reality. It is the ultimate 90-degree cardinal hinge in our entire calendar. It's that exact, precise moment where we celebrate leaving the stagnant energy of the past arm in behind us and step into a vibrant, nonviolent progression toward a new reality, a new Ormazd. It is literally the physics of spring.
Finally, let's wrap it up with Section 6, implementing human free will.
So where do you and I fit into all this? Well, according to the research, human beings act as the ultimate grounding wire for all this cosmic energy. Using the logic and reasoning associated with Mercury, our job is to utilize the Virgonian tools of implementation, and these are represented by the asteroids, Vesta, Ceres, Pallas, and Juno. We're talking focus, nurturing, strategy, and partnership. They are the highly practical tools we use to manifest invisible cosmic voltage right into tangible physical reality.
And look at how this ties the whole shebang together. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. You've definitely heard this before as a moral philosophy, right? But within this unified field theory, these aren't just polite little suggestions. They are the strict, step-by-step mechanism for implementing your free will. First, you conceptualize the energy through good thoughts. Then you articulate that intent through good words. And finally, you physically ground that voltage into the real world through action with good deeds. It is literally an engineering schematic for human choice.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. If cosmic trigonometry is driving our collective risk appetite, how are you going to use your free will today? The data shows us without a doubt that the universe provides the energetic pulse. It gives us the order, the entropy, and those critical 90-degree hinges of change that move the markets and shape our collective mood. But listen, the universe does not make your choices for you. It is entirely up to you to be the grounding wire for that voltage through your good thoughts, good words, and good deeds. So how will you harness the energy of Ahura Mazda today? Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating material with me, and keep questioning the mechanics of your reality.